What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ahmad, Bruce Lee, for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, we got some breaking news for you, man. Some funny news, actually, regarding Anthony Yarde. Tunde has leaked the fact that, number one, Yarde is on Opetia's ass, and number two, that Joshua Buatsi allegedly is ducking the fades. Ducking the fade that we all know is supposed to be happening. It's quite a long clip, but I'll play it, and I might stop it at points, but it's probably about 4 minutes here. How many minutes is it? It's a few minutes still. 3 minutes, but I'll speed it up a little bit. Either way, we go.
I think he would have given Opetia a harder fight.
I think Opetia is superb, and I think he's going to be in the pound-for-pound list for a while. I really like him, and I think that if Chris wins this fight, which is possible, I do. I think it's a real possible fight for him to win, and if he does that and gets 2 belts, why not? That's an amazing payday for him against Opetia. He'll believe he can beat him. I think Opetia is different levels to these guys.
But we say different level, but what are we basing it on? Who? On what? Okay, Brady's Prescott, but Jordan Thompson is not.
Yeah,
Jordan. I'm just saying, Jordan Thompson, Jack Massey are not really people that you would say, okay, these are really good world-class fighters. They're just normal. And I don't mean that disrespectfully.
I think it's the manner in which he...
Who else did he fight? Elizoro as well.
Elizoro.
It's the manner in which he's just dispatched them and dealt with them. And
Adam, I could have done that. I could have done that.
I'm sure you could.
I could have beaten Zorro, Thompson, and Massey in the same manner. On the same night.
Does that mean you don't subscribe to the...
This guy, Tunde's about 5 foot tall, man. The funny thing was, what got me here, Tunde goes, no disrespect to Jordan Thompson. Earlier in the thing, he said, no disrespect to Jordan Thompson, but A, B, C, E, D. And then goes on to say, I'd have them in the same night. Man, this guy bugging, man. Oh, it made me laugh. Anyway, I think the reason Tunde's saying that is he's not making out, but he believes that Opetia is light work for Yarde, and hence Anthony will have a go on him, Opetia, and I'll have a go. I'll have seconds. I'll have the sloppy seconds like McGregor's mate in his civil case. Yeah, Tunde will jump on for the take it after Yarde's had a go on him. I don't know who wins that fight. Opetia isn't an easy. As much as I think Yarde has a chance, I think the Yarde has a chance. I do. But he's got to go in there like he did with Lyndon Arthur. Obviously, Opetia's leagues above Lyndon Arthur. But he's got to go in there and stick it straight on him. That's how you beat Opetia, I believe. Bradis showed that, and Bradis is 40 years old. But if Yarde goes in there boxing with Opetia, the size, and Opetia's quick, Opetia will box his head off. People, if you're going life and death with Lyndon Arthur in a boxing match, if you're going life and death with that cab driver, that Latvian cab driver from the other weekend, you got the cruiserweight, Opetia will box your head right in Anthony Yarde, and it might end up looking like Kovalev won, to be honest. If you're in there just faffing around and having a look, if you could put it straight on him like Bradis did, if you start off where Bradis ended, you got half a chance. Jack Massey went in there, he must have got the power, to be fair to Jack Massey. Jack Massey's not a punk, I put some money on him. I don't know Opetia, I think Opetia is sweet. I think there's sweetness in his heart. Not based on, I don't know the guy, but based on them 2 Bradis fights where he fell apart in the back 4 rounds, that tells me there's something sweet there. Bradis was too old to do anything, but if someone a bit younger, of similar quality, I can see them filling Opetia in. Anyway, let's get back to the rest of the show.
Because that ultimately we're talking about a pound for pound here.
No, I just thought I got my trainer's hat on. I'm like, why is everybody running from this guy? Like, to me,
I
don't think he is what everyone's building him at. And I say this again, as wild as it sounds, Anthony Yarde does not watch other fighters. At the British Boxing Board of Control, when he won the fight of the year against Beterbiev, they had a highlight rule. And Anthony goes, who's that guy? And I'll give you a story. After the Beterbiev loss, George Warren, we was all sitting down in the office, and then he said, there's a geezer in New Zealand. He's got a belt. Do you want to fight him? And I was like, who's the geezer? Oh, it was Jai Opetia, by the way.
At that stage.
At that stage, but just some geezer. But the thing is that Anthony looked at him on the screen, and Anthony said to me, turned to me, goes, who's that guy? I said, yeah, that's the guy that they wanted us to fight. I said, I'll fight him. And this is why, I'm supposed to be out there next week, ringside, to watch this fight.
Right.
And if we can't get the fight, which we've been asking for forever, Buatsi.
Winnie Cena.
Wow, the moody ads, man. I've got YouTube Premium as well, but I haven't uploaded it on this account, ain't gonna lie.
Anthony Yarde is ready to go to cruiserweight.
Well, let's
and fight these
talk.
guys.
You brought him up, and it's a natural segue. Thank you.
So there's the Opetia part of things, and I'll be honest, listen, if Anthony Yarde, for whatever reason, doesn't get the Buatsi fight, if he wants to go up there, Opetia's not doing nothing at cruiserweight like that, if that makes sense. There's a bunch of bums at cruiserweight. Yeah, there's a bunch of bums at cruiserweight. Let's call it a spade there. Cruiserweight is like the dudes, more or less. It's probably a bit better than Inoue's dudes. He's punching heads off, but it's marginally. Yeah, them old bums that you got in there with Inoue is the same as cruiserweight is weak. So if Yarde want to go up there and put it on Opetia, I mean, we can sit here and even if it comes, I've got a theory here, not a theory, it's fact. The facts are allegedly the alleged facts that some people are saying reportedly are that Yarde, Buatsi was supposed to happen, but Yarde was saying I'm the A side and I want 60%. I don't know how true or not true that is. I'll tell you this now for free. If Yarde, even if he thinks he's a prima donna, if he prima donnas himself out of this Buatsi fight and wants to run up there and take on Opetia, I mean, I think Opetia is probably a harder fight and it's not as big either. So listen, if he wants to run out of the way of a truck into a train, essentially, a bigger size, 25 pounds, a big old jump. And now Yarde does have but Yarde's already thick. He's thick at 175, so what's he going to do? I reckon Yarde look like David Haye, essentially, at cruiserweight. Got that David Haye type build to him. So, if he wants to jump up there and fight Opetia, as long as for Yarde is Opetia or Buatsi next, I'm not going to complain which one it is. When I will complain is, which it tends to be in Yarde's career, he's had 2 good fights. He's like nearly 35-year-old or something like that. He's only actually had 2 good fights, literally. He don't even have the Liam Smiths in there. I know Liam Smith isn't a 175er, but for example, he doesn't even have the Craig Richardsons in there. The next best one after his 2 losses is like Lyndon Arthur, who just don't cut the mustard like that. He just does not. He doesn't have them middle fights, so it tends to be once every half decade he'll fight a Kovalev or a Beterbiev, and the rest of them are bum of the months. But if he wants to fight Opetia or Buatsi, fair play. Do not let it be another bum of the month. And that last fight, and now we know that, or it's been alleged that Tunde and Yarde are looking to team up with Boxer. We know Boxer like to build fighters. And after that Latvian plumber performance, I won't be shocked at all. I will not be shocked if they're like, oh, we needed to rebuild, or we need another one, a warm-up fight after the warm-up fight, because the warm-up fight, I went life and death. I will not be shocked, based on the history of Yarde's career. Yeah? I'm happy to be proved wrong. Anyway, let's get to the Buatsi claims now. Here we go.
For doing that, but obviously Anthony Yarde. I mean, I've always been a great admirer of Anthony's. I like him as a fighter. I love the performance, second performance against Lyndon Arthur, not the first one, the second one. So how tough? I mean, I have to say, I did feel, and you won't hear me say this very often.
The UK, the United States of America. Why are we always saying, why are people always saying Frank or
that were created
big kahunas to go over there? AY against Bivol. There is absolutely not one UK fighter where you can put them in one lane and line up so many other fighters and you know it's being sold. So this is what it is. So I'm like, so if you're telling me that after 28 fights or 29 fights, he has one performance that is not
matching rights and issues.
September, October, we are ready to fight Chris Billen-Smith if he picks up the title. We are ready to fight Jai Opetia. And there is nothing stopping that happening other than the opponents.
Okay.
It's not Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde's ready. And Anthony Yarde has been ready.
So when you allude to that, put aside the ramifications of contractual issues, which you now believe in your mind.
But there has never been a contractual issue.
I think Queensberry had a different view on it, but the fact that he got into the ring and fought might tell you from stepping in a ring is...
Be made as, or the fight was offered, we're ready to fight. It's not even be offered.
The economics.
And again,
because if it's the next cab off the rank, are you saying it's Josh Buatsi?
I'm saying Anthony Yarde is ready to fight. I don't know Joshua Buatsi is Joshua Buatsi. Only he can answer that question. And again,
is it the economics?
And again,
because is it the economics of what you guys expect out of it?
It's always money. It's about valuing yourself and knowing what you're worth and standing on that.
So that could be a problem.
Again, it could be a problem, but if the fight was to be made or the fight was offered, we're ready to fight. It's not even being offered.
This is the other thing, Simon, that fighters want it.
So this is tricky. Essentially, Tunde's telling us what I just mentioned a minute ago. Tunde's saying, yeah, the economics needs to be right, and it might not be right. Secondly, though, in his defence, it hasn't even been offered. So who has Buatsi now? A boxer? Why haven't they offered it? Yarde just fought on a boxer card. Yeah? It should at least be offered, or there should be talks. Tunde's talked more about cruiserweights in this. And the worrying thing there is, the cruiserweights he'll be fighting are world champions. So if Yarde taking 50-50 of a Buatsi fight against world champions in a voluntary, you're getting 25%, maybe 30% if you can negotiate it. And I believe 50% of a Buatsi fight is a lot more, or a decent amount more, than 30% for a world title. I guess the upside is you become world champion. But they're bigger men up there. They're 6'2", 6'3". I think Yarde claims to be 6'4". I don't think he is. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11". But anyway, it goes on.
Joshua and Fury have wanted that fight for years.
This is the point.
Buatsi, I think Buatsi wants to fight.
No, so why hasn't it happened?
I do think he wants to fight.
No, but why hasn't it happened?
Maybe there's people around him that don't want it to happen. I don't know.
So
the fighters want to fight.
No.
Joshua Buatsi's told me he wants to fight Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde, I know, wants to fight Joshua Buatsi. So why hasn't it happened? AJ wanted to fight Fury. Fury wanted to fight AJ, and it didn't happen.
Adam, you're wrong. Fury did not want to fight AJ. You bugging. Yeah, he did not want to fight AJ, all due respect. That fight could have been made about 10 times. So he did not want to fight AJ. He did not want to fight Usyk until Turkey came along. If Turkey hadn't come along and threw just truckloads of cash at the problem, it wouldn't have probably happened, right? So stop playing. It's that narrative that all fighters want to fight. It's not actually true. There's a number. That said, I tend to lean at this point, after Yarde's last outing as well, what clout does Yarde really have now? Buatsi's coming off a great win against Hutchinson. For whatever that's worth. But it's worth a lot more than life and death with a Latvian cab driver. Yeah? That's what it's worth more than. And given that Yarde's lost twice and Buatsi's undefeated prospect, I think 50-50 is fair at this point. Now, if Yarde wants to go on and... I don't know, who's at 175? If Yarde wants to go on and... I'm trying to think of an example here. If Yarde wants to fight someone like... unlikely, but still, like a Benavidez, and knock Benavidez out, then we can talk again. But at this point, it's 50-50. There might even be an argument that Buatsi's DA side. So we don't know the negotiations. Is it possible? And that's why I am sceptical of individuals who don't disclose, who claim that, he don't want it. Team Yarde essentially implying Buatsi don't want it. But I'm sceptical of individuals who do that and don't give us no kind of proof. He could have said, for example, we accepted 40%, and we accepted 50-50, and he don't want to make it. That's someone ducking. If Buatsi didn't accept 50-50, that's an out-and-out duck. Now, if Buatsi didn't accept 40%, I get that. I don't think he is a clear B-side, if I'm honest. I'm sorry. I don't think he is. Does Yarde have a better brand? But, I mean, it's still within the boxing cult. He's not an AJ, is it? This ain't AJ, Anthony Yarde. He had a few Adidas deals, but based on what? Essentially the fact he's light-skinned and he got the soft hair and whatnot. It wasn't really based on what... Losing, right? That's what he's done at the top level. Yeah, he's lost. So the fame he's got is knocking out bums and getting stopped at the top level. That's his resume. And going life and death with Lyndon Arthur. So, listen, I like Yarde. I'd like Yarde to do something. I'd like Yarde to stand up and represent for the light skins, to tell the truth. But I can't sit here and lie and shill my base.
But the landscape now allows for something different. And the reasons why these fights didn't happen previously is because of arguments between promoters,
Never done anything easy.
Because you're going to get paid any more money in the cruiserweight side.
He has to be... And always, if he wants the fight would have been done. He would not have fought Willie Hutchinson.
Ooh.
Well,
When he could have fought
Willie Hutchinson was a good.
He has to be, and always likes and he wants to fight.
Well, just speak to Joshua because I know that he wants to fight.
No, and this is what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. If he wants to fight, the fight would have been done. I'm saying that. If he wants to fight, the fight would have been done. He would not have fought Willie Hutchinson.
Well,
When he could have fought
Willie Hutchinson was a good fight.
I'm not sure that's.
Yeah, he could have fought you on a 40% split. That you can't do that. Fury tried that. Fury said, "Oh, I offered him 5%. I offered Usyk 5%, and he didn't want to fight." And all the Fury homosexuals, Talk Sport were in there, glazing Tyson Fury. Yeah, I remember at the time doing videos on it. Simon Jordan was saying, "Well, if Usyk wants to fight, then he'll take 10%." It's like, that's not really how it's got to be reasonable. As it happens, Usyk took the 30%. He still didn't want it. It has to be some logic here. And to sit there and say Yarde's a 60% A-side, I struggle. And I'm neutral here. If he was, for example, 5 years ago, maybe even before the Hutchinson win, I might even have agreed. After it now, at this point, and what's Yarde done now? A good stoppage loss to Beterbiev. That's his claim to fame.
Quite right.
Yeah, no, you're not.
No, I'm not sure that's quite right. I think the argument, in fairness to this situation, the arguments between Queensberry and potentially Boxer that were in the mix of this conversation were all around Queensberry holding your feet to the fire about your contractual situation. You've maintained all along, I understand this, that they don't have these matching rights in perpetuity. But there's always been that situation. And I know that the Hutchinson fight was put in place to honour contractual obligations between fighters and promoters.
But it's a good fight coming off the Craig Richards fight. That was a good fight.
To move into the logical fight that everybody wanted to see and everybody wants to see, which is Buatsi versus
Some people thought Willie
Anthony
Hutchinson
Yarde.
would beat Buatsi. It was a really good fight on paper beforehand. He
And
coming
my
off the Craig
understanding
Richards
explicitly, which you might well decry and debunk, is Josh Buatsi categorically wants to fight your brother.
Does he?
That's my understanding.
Categorically.
Yeah, no, that's what
he's told me.
Yeah, of course, that's what he's told you. But again, I say if the fight was gonna happen, it should happen. And if it didn't happen, there's nothing stopping it now.
Want to build the bet you want in seconds?
And I think that's a good point to end it on. And that is where I'll end this top discussion here. The bottom line is, if what Tunde said is correct, there should at least be an offer sent. I do question why Yarde fought how many weeks ago now? 4 weeks ago? Send an offer. Something needs to be sent out now. I guess it doesn't need to be sent out now. Christmas is coming up. But if you're booking for a March fight, the earlier you book it in, the better I'd have thought. Why not? Equally, well, Yarde is he's in no man's land. He don't have a team to really reach out, and if Yarde's team reach out, it makes them look desperate. If they start reaching out saying, hey guys, if you come to them, it's better if they come to you, but still, listen, if you're going to go up to cruiserweight anyway and roll the dice, you might as well cash in on the Buatsi thing. You might as well. It's not a mega fight, it's not like a Eubank and Ben, but it's arguably a winnable fight. I've got Buatsi now, I'm going to be honest. 6 months ago, I'd have told you Yarde will walk straight through Buatsi, but if Buatsi can bring that spite that he brought to, to Willie Hutchinson. Willie Hutchinson's better than that Latvian dude. And Yarde's gas tank is suspect. He's very explosive, but he runs out of gas naturally, like all explosive athletes do. After 6 rounds, he's very slow and very tired. And I wonder what he's going to do at cruiserweight, to be honest, with that extra weight. Because there's no way... Can Yarde really get to 210? Good cruiserweight, like Usyk and whatnot. Fully sized cruiserweights at 210. Is Yarde really going to put 35 pounds on? And if he does, he's going to be slower. He's going to be more gassed. So, I'll watch it, for sure. But I don't think there's any easy... To sit there... There's not an easy answer here. They're all hard fights. Buatsi... Chris Billion-Smith's probably the easiest one, but he's 6'2", 6'3", and a proper cruiserweight. And if Chris Billion-Smith was that much of a punk, Coley wouldn't have shit his pants. Reactpool wouldn't have shit their pants. So he's doing something right, and they're proper balls. They're proper old school bred mandingas. When you look at Richard Riakporhe, you know that's a Willie Lynch type stick there. He was bred for that. They bred him with all the strongest ones over centuries, and that's how you end up with Riakporhe, that's for sure. So you got this mandinga who's been bred by Lord Barry Massa Hernberg for the centuries upon centuries of. That's what they do with the animals. Yeah, they get all the cows together, and the one that makes the most milk, they breed that one, and next thing you know, the titties are like this. Or dogs, they breed the strongest, most aggressive dog, and etc, etc. You best believe it. So there's no easy fights there. Opetia is not easy. Bill and Smith isn't easy, and Buatsi isn't easy. Just make sure you're one of them three, though. Don't be coming in. Would I take Yarde versus Willie Hutchinson? Tunde also mentioned Callum Smith. I'd take them. Anyone. That's what we got to be talking about now. Something at some stake. If Yarde can go in there and blow Willie Hutchinson out, then we can come back to the table talking about 60%. Hey man, you went points with Willie. I blew his back out. Take it. Yeah. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about these bars. People, stop it.